Hello there, beloved coaches, healers, leaders, caregivers. And I want to explore a powerful journey that is going to take you into your wildest success. Now, what is wild success anyway? Somebody asked me that question once, and my answer was wild success and feeling that real, I guess, engraved confidence is about doing what you love and loving what you do. It's not necessarily around money or wealth or materialistic possessions. It's about being able to activate your divine power. So, one of the biggest issues that many coaches, healers, leaders, and caregivers face is that they're always putting other people first. But this means that they're putting themselves last. And sometimes they are not valuing their own competency and their right to be wildly successful as they deserve to. So, for example, many people are getting in the way of themselves. So they won't show up for reasons such as, I'm not as good as that other person. So there's a lot of comparisonitis in that when you're looking at other people and instead of role modeling them and channeling them as we teach in NLP, we become self-sabotaging in a lot of our thoughts where we tell ourselves, I can't do that. I'll never be good enough to be able to achieve that. When in actual fact, when I'm doing these sessions, so the person I'm doing this session backstage with, I believe she really realizes and recognizes that the only person she's really affecting is not only herself, but everybody that she can change. So she's in the way of herself, but not only is she in the way of herself, she is depriving those people outside of her that are praying for her service. So the reason I'm saying this is because I really want you to become outward focused, because you've got to be able to let go of your own insecurities. This is not about you anymore. I can promise you, if I'm going to slam you across the face with something powerful today, what I would really like to emphasize is that people that come into my community and are in my portal, you are not in there for self-glory. You are in there to do a work in the world. You are there to serve a purpose, a passion. So move out of the way of yourself and come through. But now we're going to go into an exercise. And what I'm going to do in this exercise is I'm going to help you to identify, firstly, what are the elements that are holding you back? Are you suffering comparisonitis? Are you suffering self-sabotaging talk? Are you afraid of how you're going to be judged and what other people are going to think of you? And if this is the case, you definitely need to do this. So I want you to sit back, relax, make sure you're in a safe position as we move through the first element of timeline. So you can pause this video at any time, but the first element is understanding what you want. So in this particular person's case, she wants to be able to be out there helping the world. She wants to be able to live her purpose and her passion. And in order to do that, obviously, there must be that return in frequency of wealth and the fact that she can get paid just like you can get paid for your services rendered, because by getting paid, that means you can serve more people, you can broaden your horizons. However, this is not for the faint-hearted. You've got to be able to go through the trenches, and I know that most of you have. And if you are suffering, if you are feeling like you are met with so many challenges, you can go, yes, because that is the place and space for you to be in the trenches for your training so you can help others. So, as you know, 5 master keys. Number 1 master key is your health, your billion-dollar energy. Key number 2 is your relationships and what you think about yourself, and perhaps what are the stories you tell yourself that we can recode. Number 3, your self-worth and your self-love, which really comes down to your frequency of wealth and prosperity. So I call this prosperity codes, but you have to be very strong inside your own self-worth. Number 4, now understanding your purpose. So everything that's happened to you has happened for you so you can help the world. So what's that going to look like, feel like, be like? And number 5, being the legacy. Because when you dissolve, clear, and release these really ingrained stories and beliefs, what this is going to do is not only help you to shift out of the way of yourself, help the world, impart your greatest gift, but it's going to serve those around you. Those around you that you love are going to experience this. And that's why we call it legacy work, because this is where you hold the baton. So with no further ado, let's begin. So finding yourself now in a nice, comfortable place, I want you to think of it in the eye of your mind like a timeline that is going to be a path that stretches from behind you, which is into your past, and then goes out ahead into the future. Now, maybe your timeline may look a bit different. Maybe it runs from left from your past and then to right. Maybe it is located in a zigzag. And I wonder if the first disclaimer and authority and permission that I can have is to speak and guide your superconscious mind and your subconscious. Now, if you feel aligned with doing this, I would like you to visualize that this is going to be this big, long path. And the past is behind you and the future is in front of you. Now, on this path, we're going to find the root cause of where the negative self-talk began, where it all started, because obviously it may have been an ongoing element. It would have also patterns of where it's continued through time, but there was a place and a time where it began. So just like a weed, we're going to pull it from the roots. So together, let's transform and clear and begin to build new cornerstones so that you can have a confident, purposeful future. Now, I want you to identify what are some of the elements that are stopping and blocking you. Now, with your eyes now closing shut, I want you to roll your eyes upwards so they're looking into the eyebrows with your eyes closed. I want you to take a deep breath in, but as your eyes are rolled up, I want you to visualize that you are rising in your imagination right up above your timeline, and breathe out and allow your breath as it breathes in you life and breathes out. Allow your unconscious mind to show you back on your timeline the very first time you felt that you were affected by the way you have been seeing yourself, haven't you? The things that have been stopping and blocking you and holding you back, didn't they? So I want you to trust this process, and as your superconscious is now being guided by a divine light. I want you to just be guided to go back through time. Now, remembering that you may find the experience more vivid in sound, maybe in frequency and vibration, or maybe you can imagine what you see when you float back. Just remember, everything is perfect. Also, I want you to know that in every step of the way, it's okay if you drift off and begin to think of something else, because I'm calling your subconscious to do all the work. Isn't it nice to know you can be rest assured as you rest here now? So I'm going to ask your subconscious mind, when did this begin? And now just trust that your subconscious is moving back to that very first time. Just sense that you know what was happening, whether it was words spoken and experience as a child. And know that you made a decision in your young mind. Now, as you connect back to the memory, maybe of being a child that felt that you were suffering, maybe you felt a sense of suffering in some shape, way, where it caused you to be in this compromised position, trusting your subconscious mind. Who are you with? Notice what is happening. Now, what if I told you you're going to be given the power to uproot this? So I want you to imagine like a weed. If you pull it from its very roots, like a tree even that may have been planted, or a plant, when you take it out from the underneath of the ground and pull it up, it will release everything attached. So all of those developing patterns that you had, all of those issues that held you back, are going to be uprooted. I want you to imagine that belief as a weed growing in the garden of your mind's eye. Now I want you to imagine that whether you imagine that it's a tree, a plant, a weed, you may need a lot of people around you to help you to pick it up, to dissolve it, to clear it, to release it. Maybe there is an army of people needing to pull it out. And maybe it's just you plucking it from the earth and then sensing as you do so, just pull it out. And now I want you to understand, this was never really yours to carry. You are free now. This is just a moment in time where you set up some of your beliefs. Now I want you to look ahead into the future, because had you not been able to do this work, this would have meant that you would just stay stuck. You would just stay in the same position. So I want you to look out ahead on your timeline, on that path. And I want you to see in front of you a small mound hill. That mound hill would have been the mound hill that prevented you from your wildest success. But now that you have dissolved, cleared, and released from all dimensions of time and space, I want you to know that you are going to clear this mound hill. This is just a representation of the challenges and doubts you once had, the resistance that you felt, the heaviness, the way that it manifested, the way it showed up in your health, your wealth, your relationships, your ability to be that leader. Now I want you to see on the other side of that Mount Hill, like you're a child and you're playing with a carefree sense of this wholeness and completeness. And I want you to see that it's like a game of hopscotch. And on that first stone in front of the Mount Hill is confidence. I want you to set up a scene where you remember in space of time feeling confident, feeling so good. It may have been a moment where you may have won something. You may have been doing something that you love and loving what you do. I want you to see that as that energetic stone on the pathway. And that is going to be amplified as we move into it. Now, I want you to rise up above, directly above that stone, and I want you to see yourself in this confident place and space. I want you to imagine that you're now going to float down from 5, going 5 times deeper into confidence. 4, going 400 times deeper into a sense of that strength and that feeling of wonderful power. 3, going 3,000 times deeper into a sense of your own peace and deep relaxation. 2, going now 2,000,000 times deeper into this wild success and confidence and strength and feeling of wonder. And then 1, I want you to imagine that you're landing on the stone and that the frequency in your body is multiplying. And now rise up, and I want you to see the next stone on the path. This is a stone of trust, a stone where you know that you deeply can trust yourself. So anything that you want and that you believe in, you will have that divine trust. Now remember a time in your life when you had that, when you knew you just had to make that decision because you completely had that strong element. Now we're going to move down into it from 3. Only this time we're going to be 3,000 times deeper into that feeling and sensation of trust. 2, dropping down, going 2,000,000 times deeper into a sensation of a memory where you completely trusted every part of yourself. 1, going 1,000,000 times deeper. Now stepping onto this stone, feeling this amplified trust moving through every cell of your body, moving through the frequency, allowing your entire body to be filled with trust. Imagine the vibration, the feeling, the sound, what that looks like, feels like. That's right. Now rise up. Now I want you to see the next stone and know you'll go deeper and deeper with every count that you've already counted to amplify all these good feelings. We're going to begin with 2, and you're going to go 2,000,000 times deeper into being self-assured. I want you to see yourself in the way that you look, in the way you feel, and in a memory where you have felt this self-assured feeling. This is where you are unstoppable. And 1, going 1,000,000 times deeper into this feeling. And now be on this stepping stone. Be in this space and place like it is marked into your DNA. And now rise up again. And we're going to go to the final stone. But this final stone is going to have a booming sound that amplifies your frequency. It is going to have an affirmation which is going to become an invocation into your life. This is going to be something that you'll be able to say to yourself on repeat. You'll be able to memorize. And that is that you understand that the law of NLP is about the way you can change your mind, the way you can do anything that anybody else can do, you can do it too. That's why even famous athletes, their coaches and mentors have even exaggerated the time of where their oppositions have run races and won competitions and made it even shorter, so that this impresses this ability to the athlete to win and achieve that same goal. And what they didn't realize is that because their coach exaggerated, they reached it, knowing that what anybody else can do, so can they. So as you begin to float down from 5 again, I want you to look and see the words etched on this cornerstone. Anything I see anyone else do that I admire, I can do better. Floating down 5 million times deeper into this memory. Anything I see anyone else do that I admire, I can do better. 4, going 4 million times deeper into this affirmation. Anything I see anyone else do that I admire, I can do better. 3, going 3 billion times deeper into this strong affirmation, hearing the words and seeing them etched on that cornerstone. Anything I see anyone else do that I admire, I can do better. 2, going 2 trillion times deeper into this memory, into this invocation. And 1, standing inside of it, allowing the words to vibrate the energy. Anything I see anyone else do that I admire, I can do better. And I want you now to imagine that every stone that you've just moved through, which is being self-assured, having the trust and having the confidence so you can have this wild success, is now coming into this cornerstone of this affirmation. And I want you to imagine it has a sound of frequency, it has a color, it has this beautiful, beautiful energy. And what you're going to do is you are going to float back and you're going to integrate it. But when you get to that mound hill, you are going to completely squash it. And it's going to be squashed with the trillion hertz of frequency that you are developing. So now as you stand in your affirmation, I want you to say after me, anything I see anyone else do that I admire, I can do better. Now step back onto the next cornerstone and feel the feeling of this self-assuredness, and then go back to the cornerstone of trust and take in the sound, the visualization, and the full coding experience of trusting as you hear yourself saying, anything I see anyone else do that I admire, I can do better. Going back to number 1, into the confidence, which is now multiplied, and it has the compound of trust and self-assuredness with this affirmation. Feel the confidence igniting in every cell of your body. And now, as you have it, I want you to raise up, floating up from above and going above the molehill. And this is where I want you to say after me, I declare to dissolve, clear, and release this old pattern, this old feeling, this old obstruction that is in the molehill, and all of those stuck negative patterns are going to be dissolved. I dissolve it now through all dimensions of time, past, present, and future. I declare that you be gone. And now just feel the energy of all of your confidence, trust, and self-assured with your wildest success now just enveloping and covering over where that molehill was, wasn't it? Now I want you to float back, right back to that space of time where you pulled it out from the weed. I want you to drop that energy down into the inner child. I want you now to float across time and watch it now as it moves confidence and trust and self-assuredness. And this is going to have a domino effect over every part of your life. And every time you listen to this recording, it is going to become stronger. You'll be able to utilize it for any situation. And as you move through now to the very present, I want you to look out and see yourself now in the future. How do you look? What have you been able to achieve? Now let's just take a photograph and see what we see, but hear it as you know the words. Anything I see anyone else do that I admire, I can do better. Now take a snapshot. Allow it to float down and hear it landing. Feel the sensation of what it's like to have achieved this and float back to your inner self. And coming back, I'll count you up to 3 as I bring you back so you can step into the first day for the rest of your life. 1, 2, and 3. Open your eyes and just take a deep breath in and breathe out. Say that affirmation with your eyes open. Anything I see anyone else do that I admire, I can do better. Welcome to the first day for the rest of your life, and may you have the wildest success in the name of your soul calling and your ultimate purpose.